Hello, guys. This is Joanna. I was just waiting for my computer to say I'm live on this end. So I'm kind of upset. I've been watching the hearings all week and seeing what's going on, and I see that things are kind of crooked. So, I mean, like in Michigan, that woman who was a contractor for Dominion testified and talked about how they kept running stacks of the same stack of ballots through the machine over and over and over. So obviously their election was a fraud. Um, and I'm from the Midwest, and some of you know I'm from Illinois. Okay, so Illinois has been known, like we joke, make sure your dead grandma votes. Ha 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 ha. Make sure you vote early and often. Wink wink. Find several ways to vote through dead people's names or whatever. It's a joke. We make like even as Republicans, we make this joke like ha 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 because that's what the Democrats have been caught doing. Sorry, I realized what happened. I'm gonna sum that up in a minute, but I'm really disappointed because, and it's not my fault. It's not my generation's fault because how were we really? I mean, I don't think that the majority of the country realized there could be mass voter fraud. Okay, I'm just going to say that right there. I don't think the majority of the country, the majority of the states in our country have ever experienced mass voter fraud, like huge amounts, like millions and millions and millions of votes that were fake, let's say. Um, in Illinois, we were found guilty of it, I guess, during the JFK versus Nixon election, where JFK paid the mob off to just take all these Republican precinct votes and throw them in the Chicago River. Okay. So we make jokes about that. Then we make jokes about dead people voting because then there's been elections where they found so many, you know, 5,000 dead people voted in Chicago. I mean, I can't quote that, but I know that that's a fact. I know it's probably way more than 5,000. It's probably more like 100,000, 200,000, maybe 500,000. I have no idea. Okay. Because Chicagoland area, aka Cook County, adds so much population to the state of Illinois that the state of Illinois is a 20-point state. Okay, we are huge. And growing up, I've been Republican, helped my parents set up signs for George Bush and blah blah blah. Okay. But I've been able to pick out the rhinos now since I've seen them growing up in some of my first time to vote, like voted for Mitt Romney, voted for John McCain, even though I didn't like them really. I thought, these guys are kind of pussies, man. Like, what the hell is it? Like, give me a guy like John Wayne to go fight these sons of bitches. Excuse my language. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's who I wanted. I wanted a man like John Wayne. And who comes along? President Donald Trump. Okay? And he's done so many things, good things for the minority communities, good things for the black communities, good things for everybody, good for all American people. Okay, so I cannot believe that. And I talked to a random black man in my capital city. I don't want to name it because it's close to my hometown. Um, and he said, I don't really like politics, but I like what Trump has to say, and I like all the good things he's done for us. Our economy is so much better, and I can support my family, and that's all everybody wants, right? Is the right to support the families. Okay. So as an election judge right here, I'm gonna jump, okay, from that, my like argument to now, here's some election judge facts. Okay. I am a ex-election judge of my community, my county, I volunteer for the county. Um, and I served for 10 years as an election judge. We started when we were young. Me and my husband started when we were young, when we were first married, as a way to make extra money for the household. And then as we've gotten older, like now I have to stay home with the kids and get them off the school bus and all that stuff. So I don't do it anymore, but I know how stuff's supposed to run. So I thought that we didn't use Dominion's tabulators here in Illinois. Because I saw a picture of them in like 2015 on Twitter and studied them, because I was an election judge then, and studied them to try to figure out, what is this Dominion software look like? What's the brand label look like? Stuff like that. Like, I know what the HP symbol looks like, stuff like that, to try to recognize it. Went to serve as an election judge at my polling place. The polling place I was assigned, not the polling place I vote at, a different polling place. And I didn't see any kind of branding at all on the tabulator, actually. I was there in the morning, first thing in the morning, and you're setting up your precinct, and the precinct woman, head chairwoman, comes in with the tabulator. Well, okay, so at our polling place, there was 3 precincts per polling place to save space. So one of our judges, a Republican and Democrat judge, went to the courthouse, got the ballots. Each precinct did the same thing, but one of the precincts in my polling place also got the tabulator. They brought it in, took it out of the bag. All of us judges rushed to the middle, because that's what we're supposed to do. We rushed to the middle to witness the opening of the bag and her taking the keys and unlocking the key. It's like a padlock key on this bag. Unlocking the key, pulling the padlock off, unzipping the bag, pulling the tabulator out, pulling the power cable out, plugging the power cable in, plugging it into the back of the tabulator through the ballot box. I think you might have to open the ballot box to do that, but then you close the ballot box up, make sure every entry door thing is locked for security reasons, so our ballots cannot be touched once they're fed through the tabulator. Okay, anyway, she takes this memory card. Here's where I'm getting to, okay, because I'm going to show you some proof that even our simple little hillbilly tabulators in rural Illinois that we think, oh, they should be safe. The people at the circuit clerk's office tell us they're safe. What if somebody decided to mess with those memory cards and the circuit clerk didn't know? I'm not saying she would do it, because I trust her. She's served the office for the 10 years that I've been serving, and she served the previous administration who was working there, and I worked under him and all of whatever. I'm not saying she would do that, okay? I'm just saying, what if somebody did that, like in Rock Island County or Saline County or St. Clair County? Oh yeah, somebody bragged in St. Clair County that their teenage daughter got to vote because she had a mask on and they couldn't ask for her ID. So did she vote under a dead relative's name? Don't know about that one, kind of curious. Okay. Anyway, so you take the memory card, put it in the tabulator, close the little lock it, turn the thing on, and it starts running the zero tape automatically. It's kind of like a cash register. It has to run a startup, a boot, I guess, startup, whatever. And then it kicks out the startup tape that shows all the precincts are zeroed. And all of us judges stand there and watch as the tape comes out. And we all certify, yes, it all says 0. We all sign our names at the bottom. Okay. This is all part of the method and control procedures to show that, yes, a judge of each party fairly was there to represent, yes, the tape's all 0 in the morning. Blah. Okay. And I always thought that meant our elections were safe, but now I'm going to show you a video that I think disproves it, and it really scares me. And I don't think that anyone at our local level would even know about this unless they tested it themselves. So here I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And we're going to go to Facebook. If anybody comes in the chat, please tell me if my volume is playing. It says I did not. It's showing me the option to mute the screen audio, but I don't want to. I want you to hear it. So this is a video I got on Facebook from my cousin.
Well, let me tell you what we're going to do today. We have constructed a mini election, but Harry Hersey, as you have served as a technical advisor of how to do this, we're going to ask you to remain outside. After you,
that guy's the technical advisor. He's never going to go in and touch the machine. but he has the secret goods.
To
Watch.
ensure that we've not prepared some sort of a device that has been pre-rigged, pick the number, and then we'll grab that unit, and that will be the device that we will count the ballots on.
I just feel like this is the one.
Okay, and the winner is unit 15191.
5191.
They're pulling out the same type of tabulator we
What
use
we
here in
have
Illinois.
here is
Exactly
a
the same.
programmed optical
Identical,
scan
actually.
ballot. There is only
I
one
just don't know what the
question
brand is.
on this ballot. Can the votes on the Diebold system be hacked using the memory card?
Maybe
I
it's
have
Diebold
only
then.
touched the memory card, not the other parts of the Diebold election system, which is going to be used today.
He's only
only
touched
the
the memory
memory.
card.
I can certainly speak for myself and Harry, and that we're going to vote yes.
All right, then let's have the rest of us vote no. Two individuals,
Excuse me.
Hugh and Harry, will be voting
And they're all
yes.
using the felt
rest
tip,
of us will be voting
ballot,
no.
marker,
And then we'll
pen,
scrutinize
which
the
I have a
ballots
copy of it here
afterwards
at
to
my
ensure
house
that
that I
is
kind of
indeed the
accidentally
mark.
snagged for proof reasons.
I will say that I'm wrong and Diebold is right, and I'm going to say, no, they cannot be hacked.
It's impossible. So I vote no.
I'm going to film myself voting. Excuse me.
This woman's trying to document everything, which I enjoy. Go for her.
I'm going to mark this ballot no. Dr. Thompson?
I am going to bar this ballot.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Seen some
First yes
pretty
voter.
concerning things.
Well, it's down to you. You're the last voter, Harry.
All right, I think it could be. So I vote for yes.
You will be the second yes.
All right, here is the memory card I have touched.
Okay. Now, this is the only piece of Diebold equipment that you've used.
That's correct.
Well, thank you. Let me take your ballot in.
Diebold. That's the name. They're connected to Dominion.
This card will go into this slot. The next activity that the election worker does on the morning of the election is turn the machine on.
Now he's
making it
talking about
live to
judges.
receive
This is
votes.
where we, as election judges,
When you
are-
do that, this machine will produce what is
He's gonna
called
show you.
a zero total tape. The machine is going through a self-test analysis, and then it'll spontaneously turn on.
All right. It's printing the zero tape right there for you. Show zero yes, zero
This is
no.
Harry's card that is telling us
cleared.
that
There's
there are
nothing
zero
bad on the
votes
memory
stored
card.
in the
Supposedly.
memory. Okay, let me get the ballots.
He's
Let's
just sitting there
insert
smiling like, just wait.
a yes ballot.
One
We're going
yes,
to put in another no,
one no.
7. And the last no ballot, 8. Placing the ender card in this device and telling it to turn off its counting function and do
Ends
its
the
reporting
precinct,
function
polling place.
will now cause the voting machine to
the
print out
polling
a tape reading the number of votes that it had just read.
Precinct, blah, blah, blah. Big old memory card. 7 yes, 1 no.
Oh my.
What does that show you right there? All those people voted no and ran their ballot through the tabulator, and the tabulator changed the number with the memory card. That's what that shows you.
Oh my gosh. Let me see.
Here's the tape.
7 people said it could be hacked.
And we put through 6 and 2.
6
no
no's.
and 2
2
yeses.
Oh my gosh, do you know what this means?
How do we know that Harry didn't just change the report and the votes themselves on the memory card are still correct? If that was the case, when they go into GEMS, the results would be different, isn't that right?
I mean, the only way to know that is to read them into jams and
Let's
to
try it.
check the vote
See
totals.
what GEMS says. So should we do that?
I think we should, because I want to confirm for my own analysis, is this just a superficial
Right, that's a good
hack? In other words,
question.
did we just change the words on this paper?
Let's see. When they
And we will
plug it into the computer
upload
for the upload to the database, aka
This
Clarity
memory
database.
card
This is representational of uploading it to the Clarity database. Here is the problem. What's it say? 7? Yes? 7. Yes. 1 no. Because it would be too fake
If
to put
I
0 no's,
had not seen
right?
what was behind this, I'd have no reason not to. I would have certified this election as a true and accurate result of a vote.
Right. They have no idea. We didn't know either. As election judges, we didn't know unless you could see that their ballots were spit back for the mark function. That's something else I'll talk about later. But yeah, look at this woman. She's upset. She's like, maybe our whole election's been fake.
There's so many reasons. The reasons because there are people out there who are giving their lives to try to make our elections secure, and they're being called conspiracy theorists and technophobes, and these vendors are lying and saying that everything's
And
all right,
aluminum
it's
hat
not
wearers,
all
go
right.
put your aluminum hat back
And
on.
I'm crying because
Your tinfoil hat back on because you're afraid of the aliens. No.
quote somebody that I know.
Oh, shit like this, bro.
That it's as though our country's one country pretending to be another country. How can this be happening?
We're pretending to be a republic, but we're really something else. We're pretending to be a democracy and a republic, but are we a banana republic? Look at that. That's proof right there. That our simple little, I guess they are Diebold. I'm going to go up to the courthouse tomorrow and ask them.
I
This
don't
is not
know
my
exactly
courthouse.
how to describe what I saw here.
That's just an example. That's not real proof. That's just an example. Now I want to look
think
at ballots
as
and
election
voter registration
officials
cards.
need to be a little bit more demanding from the vendors as to the technical specifications of this equipment.
Yes,
the vendors
I agree with what he's
are
saying.
driving the process of voting technology in the United States. I would much rather, at this point, I think, focus on allowing citizens to select technology that satisfies their needs.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you what we're going to do today. We have constructed.
It's starting over. But okay, that was my example. Now I'm going to remove my screen share. Yes, remove. Okay. Hey Nick, thanks for joining me in the chat. Sorry, I just popped back to my StreamYard page so I can see the chat. Hi, what are we doing? So why are they letting us re-vote? I don't know what's going on where you are, Rebecca. You're in Minnesota, right? You're re-voting? Okay, if I was going to re-vote, I would not want my ballot put in any of these tabulators now at all. I mean, honestly, as an election judge, that video I showed you with that beige-ish rectangle size tabulator is what we put on top of the black box. aka the black box is the big black thing that's just in the middle of the polling place, where after you vote, you go in your voting booth and you vote, and then you come out and with your secrecy sleeve on the ballot, of course. Okay, then you come out, feed the ballot up a little, feed it in the machine, give them their secrecy sleeve and pen or whatever, and you're done. Okay, that ballot tabulator is the same tabulator we use right here locally in BFE, not gonna state my county, Illinois. Okay, I recognize it. I've been an election judge for 10 years. I recognize that thing. I know how it works. Yes, this sounds so messed up, right, Rebecca? What if Illinois went red? This is my whole point here. What if Illinois went red? What if my whole county, like, my county, okay, so everybody who's in the chat or watches this later may be a little confused. Like, what are you talking about? Illinois is a blue state. It always goes blue. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever. Okay, you can say that all you want. My point is this: as a Republican, born, bred, raised as a Republican, Even when I was a kid during the George Bush years and the George Bush Sr. and then George Bush Jr., George W. years, there was never this much excitement for a president. Okay, number one. That's point number one. Point number two, President Donald Trump, wasn't just running for president, okay? He just ran for president in 2016. And a lot of us didn't know if he was going to make it. And he made it. I'm sorry. I'm looking for the button on my coat because it's a little cold. And I'm hanging out in the garage while my kids are in the house being loud. Number two, President Donald Trump already was president once. He's running for his second term. How many presidents who run for a second term, no matter the party, don't win? Okay, there's been like 4 in history, and they're trying to say President Trump is the other 5. Well, you guess what? You look back at history, all those presidents who didn't get to run for a second term died. One died. The rest were booted kind of by a Democrat conspiracy. Is that shady or what? Does that tell you something? Is that a hint? I don't know. Just saying, I don't know if I even trust my local tabulator machines because now I found out they're diebold from that video we just watched as a group. And they're connected to Dominion. They're part of the Dominion Smart Mag, all that corporate. They're a big corporate conglomerate, like a big ball here, or a tree structure, a pyramid structure kind of deal, okay? Where there's one name at the top and then all these names are underneath of it. So now I'm kind of freaked out. Also found out today, because I took my phone and went, hey, Google, was Dominion tabulators used in Illinois? And what did Google show me? An article from the Sun-Times that said, Sharpiegate isn't a big deal because the Dominion tabulators will count your Sharpie marker votes. Did you just hear what I said out of my mouth? Dominion tabulators will count your Sharpie marker votes. Now, if that's a true statement or not, I don't know. I haven't tested it. I don't think it's a true statement. I think it's a fake statement. I don't think they will count those Sharpie markers. Number one. Number two, Dominion voting systems. And then it said Dominion voting systems, tabulators, were used in Cook County, aka Chicago, where the majority of the population is. That controls our state. The rest of our state can vote red. The whole county, the other 101 counties of Illinois can vote red. And Cook County, number 102, votes blue, and the whole state votes blue for 20 points to the Democrats. How is that fair? That's not fair. And now I think I have proof. They've been throwing the vote for years. We have joked and laughed about, oh, the dead people in Chicago voting, ha ha ha, or the ballots floating down the Chicago River, ha ha ha. But now that it's happening everywhere, it's happening in Michigan, Pennsylvania, definitely happened in North Carolina. I have proof, screenshots, calculations, proof it happened in North Carolina. That they took votes for Trump and flipped them. I have mathematical proof. I don't want any questions about that, okay? I'm a geek. I have a degree in mathematics and science, okay? So when I want to dig into something, I dig in. So if they did it in Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona went blue? When has Arizona ever went blue? Hello? How did they not? They wanted Texas to go blue and was trying to call Texas blue, and then they couldn't because Texas counted 10 million votes in one freaking night, and Michigan can't count, 4.5 votes in 3 weeks? Give me a break. How fake is that? How fake is that? I'm pissed. I'm not taking it anymore. I'm going to the Trump for March for Trump rally that's happening in Iowa, the next state over next to me, because I ain't going to take it. I'm going to go over there. I want to talk to the right side broadcasting and tell them everything I found. Now I think Dominion manipulated Illinois. What if Illinois went red? That would be 20 more votes for President Trump. And a lot of those people in the black community started seeing what a great life they had under President Trump, and they're like, why would I vote for a Democrat? He wants to raise my taxes. He wants to punish me for working. Why would I do that? Okay, so they understand. They're not stupid. And they're tired of being on the Democrat plantation. And I think a lot of them walked off the Democrat plantation, honestly. I think a lot of them walked off with the Brexit movement, ran by Candace Owens, who I love. She's a true conservative woman. I love her. Rebecca, this is not fair. And yes, Rebecca, this is so messed up. I've seen video proof in Minnesota that people were out ballot harvesting for that Lan Omar, whatever that Muslim woman's name is. I can't pronounce that because I'm not Muslim. Sorry, no offense. But whatever her name is, with her little turban scarf bullshit, that's the whole reason they want us to wear masks too, because next they're going to tell us white women we got to wear burqas. Kiss my ass, lady. That ain't where I come from. I come from a land where we wear blue jeans, cowboy hats, and ball caps, and sweatshirts, and coats when it's necessary. That's what we wear. And sometimes we go out and go stomping in our cowboy boots. So you can kiss it. I ain't doing that bullshit. I ain't covering my face because you're offended. Lady, you need to learn to not be offended. Sorry it went there. But yeah, this whole voting system is fake. Another point I wasn't really going to go into, but I'm going to go into it now because now I'm hot. Like, in my brain, I'm hot. How many dead Democrats across the state of Illinois voted absentee in our last election? Isn't that a good question? Why do I even ask this question, you may say, right? Why would she even think of this? She's a conspiracy theorist. She needs to go back home and put her tinfoil hat back on, talk to them alien people, giving her conspiracy theories. No, actually, this is all a question based on facts. Okay, fact number 1. My next door neighbor, who was very nice and has a family, sadly lost her mother like 3 years ago, maybe 4.5 years. It was like when they first moved in here, so maybe like 4.5, 3.5 years ago. It's been a while, but her mother's deceased. That's the nicest way I could say that she passed. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to past relatives or anything like that. I don't want anybody to think I'm being disrespectful in that way. It's just saying that they currently have passed, okay? And they are legally dead. People have their death certificates, okay? Anyway, she received an absentee voter registration card in her mother's name. But the address was to my neighbor's address, her actual address, not her mother's old address, to my neighbor's current address where her mother never lived. And her mother's deceased. Shady. Have a good night, Rebecca. Sorry. Shady. Then a cousin of mine, who was a cousin, down the family tree, like we're cousins, related through, great aunts and stuff, whatever. He happened to be present at the same time when my neighbor told me this and said, "Isn't that weird? I received a absentee voter registration card for my grandmother at my address, to my address, but in her name. And she's been gone for 20 years. That's the words he used. She's been gone for 20 years. AKA, she's passed, she's deceased, she's legally dead. And I said, can I ask you guys a question and you not laugh at me? And I said, of course. And I said, was your past family members who are no longer with us, were they registered Democrats? And they said, yes, they were. Yeah. She said, yeah, my mom was a Democrat. And he said, yeah, my grandma was a Democrat. And it makes me wonder, this happened literally in my little county where, in my same town, in my town of residence where I know, you know, some people through the family and stuff, or just random people like my neighbors, you know. Isn't that interesting? Now, because the state knows that we are registered Republicans and my mother and father are registered Republicans, they sent them and they sent us absentee voter registration cards for us to vote by mail. And it said it was sent out by some Republican committee. Me and my husband took our cards and burnt them because we don't trust anyone. And we are going to vote for ourselves on person in election. Well, he has to vote early because he's an election judge at the courthouse. But still, it's voting in person. It's the same as voting on election day. You take your ballot, you feed it in the tabulator, it's red, you see your number, right? We thought that was all secure until now we watched a video about the dipole system. Now I don't think any of that is secure. I think it was all fake. Because only 60, our county only won. Our county won on President Trump only by 60% of the vote. It should have been closer to like 80% of the vote, honestly. I mean, that's my opinion. I'm going to see. Okay, so since me and my parents are registered Republicans, my husband's a registered Republican, they wouldn't think of sending me my grandma. I'm doing that because I don't want to say her name. I'm trying not to say her name because if I accidentally do, my family might blow up at me or I might start a family fight. But anyway, my grandma was a Democrat. This is my grandma who was my mother's mother. She was a Democrat. She was a registered Democrat. She voted Democrat. She didn't really know about politics. She just voted Democrat. It's old school Roosevelt, you know, like old 1900s Democrat kind of thing. I don't know. She's voted Democrat. And we always try to change her mind. She never changed her mind. So, whatever. That's what it is. So I asked my mom, well, why did Grandma Cox get left out? Didn't you get an absentee ballot request form for Grandma Cox? And my mom looked at me in shock and said, I just said her name. Grandma's dead. Why would I get a ballot for her or a registration card for her? She was a Democrat. Other people got registration cards for their deceased relatives who were Democrats. Why wouldn't we get one for her? Oh, because we're registered Republicans. So they must have sent it to one of my family members who is a registered Democrat. I'm going to find out. I'm going to study this. If they didn't send it there, they may have sent it to her actual living address where she lived until she died. Honestly, she lived at home until she died. And on her mailbox, it still says her last name. So the mailman could have plausibly delivered it there thinking, oh, maybe she still lives here. I don't know. Even though someone else in the family, somebody else in the town that we know through family friends lives in my grandma's old house. This still says the last name on the mailbox, okay? Maybe he got her registration card and he filled it out and he voted for her because he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. That's just a fact. Not trying to make any intuitions and stuff, but like, what if this really happened? Then my aunt, who is the daughter of my grandma, my step-grandma, my great-grandma, whatever, step-grandma on my father's side, said she got a absentee voter registration card for her mother who has been deceased for 4 years or longer, maybe 10 years. And she was a registered Democrat. So why, my point is, I want to see the absentee voter list. If this could happen in my county, this little bitty boat tongue BFE rural county that don't really matter because Cook County controls the state of Illinois. If this happened here and it happened everywhere else, think about how much they padded the vote. That's just a question. How much did they pad the vote with Joe Biden ballots? How much did they pad? Like, if Grandma was alive, I would have took her to vote myself and said, whatever, I don't care. But Grandma's dead. Grandma's dead. My grandma's dead. What if somebody voted in her name? What if a lot of people voted in a lot of dead people's grandma's names? Shady. I somehow want to give this info to Rudy Giuliani, so I guess if you see this and you're connected with the Trump campaign or Right Side Broadcasting and you send it to him, go ahead. They're probably going to laugh at me and go, yeah, go ahead, whatever. Illinois will never go red. But it's something I'd like to see in my lifetime. And President Trump is like, Abraham Lincoln was like one of the best presidents ever to live. I'm going to say, yeah, we have George Washington. Then Abraham Lincoln. Number 2 is my Abraham Lincoln. And then President Trump is like a close third, like running for second. Him and Abraham, like he's done so much for all the American people. Because you know why I say that? I watched a video the other night by Dr. Ken. He's a Christian scientist. And he said the people have sequenced the genome, our DNA structure. And guess what? Based on your skin color or your race, doesn't make your genome or DNA any different. Guess what? They found out we're all one race. It's the human race, y'all. We're all one race for the human race. We all look a little different. Our skin's a little different. Our eyes are different. Our hair is different colors, different shapes, different styles, whatever. But if we were all the same, wouldn't life be boring? So again, like, I just think that what if they canceled all our votes? What if they canceled them all? Sidney Powell and that Lynn Wood guy, who's a lawyer, came out and said they saw the servers that were seized from Germany. And President Trump had 410 electoral points from winning the states. If that happened, that means he won California, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, New Mexico, Georgia, Virginia, and one of the 5-point, the little bitty states out east, New Hampshire, Minnesota, not Minnesota, New Hampshire, Vermont, Delaware, those little bitty states are like 5 points. He won one of those 2. That's the only way you can get 410. I calculated it out because I'm a geek and I want to know. So if you enjoyed my, I don't know, kind of rambling rant video of facts, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope the video I showed you in the first part of this that I screen shared was eye-opening, because what if they use those diode systems too where you are? What if your vote didn't count? Rebecca in Minnesota? Or my friend Todd in Minnesota? Or people in Colorado? Or people in Arizona? Or people in New Mexico? Or people in California? Everywhere. What if they flipped all of our votes? What if? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to find out. Well, because so far they have all kinds of proof of voter fraud. Video surveillance footage from Georgia of people taking ballots from underneath the table after the whole polling counting center had been closed and kicking everybody out, and then they pull these ballots out and count more. Shady. It's all shady. All right. Y'all, have a good night. Give me thumbs up. Bye, y'all.